Welcome everyone to review the Soundcore Life Q35 over-the-ear budget-friendly headphones. That's right, they are budget-friendly, so this might be of interest to you if you're in your budget. Budget-friendly, kind of like my haircut, except my haircut looks decent, but I mean, it doesn't look that good because, man, have you seen my face? Oof, scary stuff, right? But these headphones are pretty decent to look at, and at this budget, you're getting some pretty decent quality. So find out by watching the rest of the review why. But starting off with the first thing, which is the price. Here in Canada, it's priced at $160, although to be honest, you can find it on sale quite often, and the same with the US. So you might want to wait for a sale when it is available. But over on the US side of things, regular price is $110. It does support a wireless and wired connection, which is pretty unique to find at this budget-friendly price point. For the wired connection, use an auxiliary cable. Both sides of the cable are 3.5 millimeter. And the auxiliary connection on the headphones is over on the bottom of the right ear cup. There is some good news. You can use the headphones while the battery is dead. That's by simply using the auxiliary cable that's provided in the box. Although you cannot use the headphones in wireless mode while they are charging, because when they're recharging, it has to remain off. For wireless connectivity, it's using Bluetooth 5.0, which is a little old. I did have some concerns about that, but honestly, in real world usage, it worked just fine. Didn't notice any latency with the headphones when watching media content on a wireless device, like say my cell phone, for example, so no concern there. Another testament to the stable connection of the Bluetooth is that Soundcore claims a range of about 50 feet. My testing got 30 feet, but with a catch. I had the computer that I was connected to on the main level of my house. I was able to walk throughout my basement and I was able to go about 30 feet further, but remember, that's on a different floor of the house, so Bluetooth connection is pretty strong and stable. It does support dual connectivity, which means you can connect it to, say, two devices at the same time. For example, a cell phone and a computer at the same time. Of course, it'll only play audio from one device at a time. If you have your cell phone connected and listen to music on your computer, and your cell phone rings, music on the computer will automatically pause, allowing you to quickly answer the phone call. As for how many devices you can keep in memory, there's nothing listed on the Soundcore website or the manual. I just couldn't simply find it. But in my testing, I was able to get 4 devices in memory at the minimum, so you know you can do that without having to repair those devices all over again if needed. One other neat thing I just want to point out, not a big deal, is that it does have an NFC chip on the right ear cup, so if you were to tap your Android cell phone, for example, you'll be able to connect it with just a simple tap quickly. For accessories, it does include a hard traveling case, which is very surprising at the price point, but hey, I am not complaining, that's great to see. The auxiliary cable I mentioned earlier is measuring about 49 inches. There is a USB-A to USB-C cable. Unfortunately, it is not pure USB-C. This cable is measuring in a pretty lengthy 23 inches. There's also a cable organization pouch to kind of bundle some of the cables in there if you want to, and a plain adapter, again, not expected at this price point. There's no power adapter included in the box, which is pretty typical for headphones. You're gonna have to plug it in directly to your computer, which is what I do, or use a power outlet USB adapter from, like, say, your cell phone maybe. The headphones themselves look decent. They're just kind of average at this price point. The colors available are black, blue, and pink. Now here's the thing, regardless of the color you choose, the Soundcore logo on the side on the ear cups will always be an off-shade color of the rest of the body. Now I found that the Soundcore 30, which is one model lower, to be slightly more attractive because the Anchor logo on the side of the ear cup was a bit more stand-outish. It was a different color than the rest of the headphone body. Not a big deal, but just something I want to mention. The body does support a folding design, so it collapse in to put in that pouch as I demonstrated earlier. And they're weighing a hefty 270 grams. It's not too heavy, but it's pretty heavy for this price point. And one of the reasons for the slightly heavier weight for mid-tier priced headphones is, well, due to the construction of the body and the amount of materials used, it's pretty firm, it's not too delicate. I'm not concerned if I were to drop it a couple times it would break, it seems pretty solid. There's no information about them being dust and water resistant, but I doubt that they are. Because when I tried to look in the manual, there's nothing listed, and when I went to the Soundcore website on dust and water resistant devices, the Q35 are not listed there. And because they're over-the-ear headphones, I do not recommend them when working out, simply because you're just going to sweat a lot like crazy, just because they're encompassing your ear within the ear cups. Although regular day-to-day use, like say just sitting at your desk or walking around, they are very comfortable. I can wear them for 4 hours straight and I feel no discomfort or sweaty ears at all. In fact, even when testing them with glasses, I felt no discomfort whatsoever. And helping to that is probably because the headband flex itself is not too tight, just kind of in the middle, if you want to put it. It's not too tight, not too loose, just about right. And cushioning is quite generous in 2 areas. The first is the ear cup cushioning. It's very thick and soft and feels great against my head. The next area, which is pretty surprising at this price point, is the interior headband cushioning. It's outstanding and plenty of material was used. As for adjustments, the ear cup adjustment is done in notches, is not a slider mechanism, and the ear cup rotation can go up, down, forward, and back. There are official ear pad replacement units available on the Soundcore website, but only for the blue model. So I would think, like me, I have the black model, I can get the blue ones, but then it just looks weird. But if you do look on third-party websites like say Amazon, you can find an assortment of colors, including, the black ones. Okay, so when it comes to resting on my neck, maybe walking around a bus station or a subway station, whatever it may be, looking left and right is not comfortable. In fact, looking down, in general, it's not comfortable. The ear cups are just huge. So what you can do is kind of turn them in. And thankfully, it does not dig into my neck. I can look left and right very comfortably and look down rather comfortably as well. For controls, on the left ear cup, on the bottom button is the button to power the device on and off, and holding it will activate Bluetooth pairing mode. The next button above that is to switch between A and C modes. A and C being active noise cancelling, which will use the technology to cancel exterior noise into the headphones. You can then cycle into transparency mode, which basically means that it'll allow the microphones to turn on and have sound traverse into the headphones so you can hear your exterior surroundings more easily, or normal headphone mode, which is just no ANC, no transparency, just simple regular headphone mode. On the right ear cup at the bottom is a button to play pause music or your media content. Holding that button for about 1 second will activate your phone smart assistant if you have it paired. In my testing, I used Google Assistant with an Android device, and it worked fairly well in my experience. Still on the right ear cup at the top is a button to increase volume. Holding will go to the next track. The middle button here will actually lower the volume, or holding will go to the previous track. I find the button placements to be rather poor, and I find this to be a common trend with Soundcore headphones for some reason. Because sometimes I want to decrease the volume, and I'll end up pressing the bottom button, thinking it's to decrease volume, but I'll end up pausing the content instead. I'm not sure why, but for some reason they decided not to put the play pause button in between volume up and volume down, which just seems to make more sense. And a feature that I personally never used, but just wanted to mention it, is if you press and hold the right ear cup for about 1 second, it'll switch between ANC mode to transparency mode. The auxiliary cable that comes out of the box does have some control features. There's actually one button on the auxiliary cable. Pressing it will either play or pause music content. Now, my experience is varied. On one device, it does play or pause content. Another device, it doesn't. So your experience may vary there. It can also be used to answer or hang up a call, although I don't have a device to test that with. So when it comes to phone call features, I can't comment on that. There is no side tone mode available. So what that basically means is that when you're on a phone call with the headphones, it'll automatically enable transparency mode. So you can hear your surroundings and hear your own voice. Maybe you're talking too loudly, or maybe the surrounding is too loud for your phone call. That feature's not available on these headphones. Not a bummer, because at this price point, it's not really expected. There is an unexpected feature available, but it's horrible, and that is active play pause. What that basically means is that when the headphones are on, content's playing, cool. When you take the headphones off, it'll automatically detect that the headphones has been taken off and then pause content. When you put the headphones back on, it'll then resume the content. Except this feature is horrible. If I just touch the headphones just to kind of scratch my head, even just this much, I'm just wiggling the ear cup, I'm not even lifting it up, it'll pause. And I can't get it to play again. I'll have to take the headphones off and on, off and on. My workaround to this, turn this feature off in the app. So it's unfortunate that Soundcore advertises this feature despite it not being a necessity at this budget friendly headphones, but the fact that they advertise it and it works absolutely awful is a pain point. Now when it comes to ANC mode, so active noise cancelling, it's not bad. So when it comes to say loud engine noises of a plane or a car, it'll reduce the noise substantially. It won't operate like say premium headphones. It's not going to cancel a lot of it, but it will do a good chunk. Let's put it this way. If you were to go on a plane and you turn on ANC mode and you had to listen to something like say a podcast, you can hear it. You might have to amp up the volume a bit, but it'll work just fine. Now, where it will struggle with ANC mode is blocking out vocals, so people talking. So I've used them in a room with people about 10 feet away from me, and I can pretty much make out what everyone's saying, with no content playing, of course. I can hear muffles, but I can make out exactly what they're saying. This might be a pain in the butt to use if you're listening to, say, again, a podcast, but in a bus with a lot of noisy people talking. You can amp up the volume a lot and listen to your podcast, but it just might be a little annoying. Again, these are budget-friendly headphones, not really complaining here. Now when it comes to transparency mode and having people within 5 feet of me, not even 10 feet, I'm talking 5 feet, it's kind of difficult to hear what they're saying, even with all content paused. I'm really trying to listen to what they're saying, and I can make out what they are saying to me, but I have to really concentrate. Now when it comes to passive noise cancelling, so just simply putting on the headphones, using regular headphone mode, well, it doesn't work that well because, well, regular ANC mode just works just good enough. To be honest, you won't really need passive noise cancelling mode because the only reason you need that on headphones is to make the battery last longer because you use less technology. The battery on these headphones are so incredible, you'll probably almost never need to use regular headphone mode. So what does it come down to? Well, when it comes to ANC mode, Soundcore claims a battery lifespan of 40 hours, except in my testing, I got 53.5 hours. When it comes to transparency mode, I got 57.2 hours. Now, when it comes to regular headphone mode, Soundcore claims a crazy 60 hours, except in my testing, I got 72.5 hours. Now, 72.5 hours, I drained twice. I did 2 full cycles to really make sure this is not incorrect, right? And that's what I averaged. Now, when it comes to recharging the headphones themselves, Soundcore claims it'll take about 2 hours for a full charge, and that is fairly accurate. The USB-C charging port is located on the bottom of the left ear cup. So everything here right now is to the Q35 microphones in a quiet setting. What I do is replicate a noisy environment and then play the recording through my camera and then compare it to these headphones to see if it cancels out a lot of exterior noise. And then lastly, how it compares to cancelling out a lot of the wind noise. Alright, so replicating a noisy environment through the camera microphone. As you can see here, it's really noisy, it's hard to hear and make out what I'm saying. Switching over to the Q35 microphone, I'll give you an idea of what it sounds like with noise cancellation. I'm going to stop speaking for a minute to see if you can tell better how it cancels out noise. And now lastly, I have a fan sitting about 5 feet away from me in that direction. It's turning in various directions to see if it picks up or cancels out a lot of the wind incoming noise. So I almost forgot one more test, the cable itself. So what you're hearing right now is audio through the auxiliary cable. It's pure wired mode, so that you get an idea for yourself when you think about the audio quality there. Now when it comes to audio quality for codecs, it does support SBC, AAC, and LDAC. Yeah, LDAC. It's pretty surprising, not that I'm complaining. Quality of the box, honestly, is well received. I thought it was great. I thought that everything was well balanced, except for bass, which I'll comment on. But vocals and highs were well balanced, and again, at this price point, it sounded pretty darn good. The only reason bass is an exception to this is because these are bass-focused headphones. Now, if you're not a bass enthusiast, don't get upset and turn off this review, I'll explain why. Out of the box, the bass will be rumbling quite a bit, and that's what they're designed to do. If you're looking for something budget-friendly and everything else about these headphones check the right box except for bass, just lower the bass in the equalizer in the app, and it's fine. So just keep that in mind. So that's out of the box. The profile is pretty good for bass enthusiasts, but you can always adjust it. Now with the equalizer, if you were to increase the bass even further up, it will rumble your head. And I love it. I'm a bass enthusiast. And here's the great thing. The bass never gets distorted, never ruins a song. It's always still a clear rumble, which is good. Here's a bizarre thing. When it comes to increasing vocals, it does almost nothing. No matter what adjustments I made, lowering the bass, lowering the highs, putting the vocals up, if that's something you're looking for, it's a bit of a miss here. Now, when it comes to increasing highs, it is noticeable. Not by a tremendous amount, but it is there. What I noticed I had to do to make it stand out more was, of course, lower the bass in the equalizer and then increase the highs, and then you notice it more because the bass kind of overpowers the highs. So that's where you kind of make it stand out a bit more. So something to be mindful about if you want to get these headphones. Okay, so with glasses, when it comes to audio quality, because some people do ask me about this, mids and highs sound not too bad. Sounds pretty good, as if you were not wearing glasses. Sounds pretty much the same. Where there's a lot of suffering is from bass, because there's a lot of bass leaking out of the headphones, like a tremendous amount. And that's because the glasses that you're wearing are going to poke out of the cushioning of the ear cups right here, or the ear padding rather, and that's where all the bass leaks out. This is a common problem with pretty much any over-the-ear headphones, so it's unavoidable. If you're wearing glasses and you really want to get heavy bass, you're better off using something like truly wireless earbuds. Okay, so the last thing I want to go over is the app itself. So when you go over to the Q35, you notice some modes that are available right off the bat. This is basically cycling between ANC, transparency, and normal mode. And of course, just below you have equalizer. So there are some preset ones available you can go through if you just want to do a quick one. Say, for example, increasing the bass even more than it already is out of the box. Or you can go through a custom one, and you can make your own custom profiles if you want to, okay? You can reset them, and you can have more than one custom profile. You can go buck wild if you want to, here, depending on your taste at the time. Going a bit further back, going over to Superior Sleep is what I would just say is kind of like white noise mode. So what you can basically do is have some preset sounds play here. It's pretty cool. It's not a necessity, but it's a nice to have feature for those of you who could make use of it. And then going over to the main settings menu, the last thing, Here's where I disable that infamous wear detection mode, which just you're better off leaving it off, to be honest. You can turn the touch for transparency in the right ear cup on or off, and most importantly, of course, is the firmware updates. The Q35s are overall pretty good headphones at budget-friendly pricing. It's hard to complain about them, but there are some caveats. The one, of course, is that you can't get the vocals to increase pretty much at all, and it's a bit of a bummer. And of course, passive play pause is just absolutely horrendous. I thought my headphones are buggy, but still a pretty decent pick. It's another example of why Soundcore budget-friendly headphones perform well at this price point. So still worth checking out. And that's pretty much a wrap. So if you found this video useful, be sure to check out my social links and website link in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.